As the title says, I, 35M, and my wife, 33F, are in an open relationship. I absolutely understand our lifestyle choice is not the norm and many people would not want this kind of dynamic, and that is perfectly fine. I am lucky enough to have found someone who aligns with my thoughts, and we have had a successful and happy relationship together for 8 years now. While everyone is different, my wife and I specifically are not interested in polyamory at all, but enjoy casual hookups and have talked very openly and extensively about our views and came to an agreement together about what we want our relationship to look like. We've agreed to have an open relationship where we are free to have intimate encounters with other partners so long as it never goes beyond just a casual hookup. We both inform each other of who we are planning to hook up with before it happens, to both give the other person a chance to say no for whatever reason, as well as to continue to maintain trust and confidence in our own relationship, since as long as we are both sticking to the boundaries we've talked about, there is nothing to hide, and informing each other helps to confirm that. Again, while everyone is different, we have maintained this dynamic for 8 years and still have intimacy between just ourselves, and overall have had a fantastic relationship together. Unfortunately, as concepts such as open relationships have become more talked about and widely known, that has given the chance for people to adopt them and use them for their own reasons, the most common one being cheaters. Sadly, these things have become additional weapons in the handbags of cheaters as another way to justify or excuse their cheating, and has turned more people against them, and I honestly can't say I blame them. It should go without saying, but obviously I do not condone cheating in any way, shape, or form, and believe that inside of any relationship there has to be communication and mutual understanding of what everyone wants, and violation of that is unacceptable. And yes, that does mean me and my wife are absolutely capable of cheating on each other despite our arrangement. If my wife were to hide one of her hookups from me, or inform me she took a guy back to a hotel room after meeting him and made out and watched a movie and bought him presents, that would absolutely be cheating, and same thing if I did any of that to her. As I've said, I believe every relationship should have a clear outline of what is and is not acceptable, and operating outside of those boundaries is cheating. End of story. Sorry for the long introduction, but I feel that it is important to understand my own views and relationships since it unfortunately plays a large part in the story. To start, my friend, who I will call Mike, 34M, is married to his wife Lisa, 34F. Mike is a childhood friend of mine whom I grew up with and knows a lot of my deepest secrets and fears, as I do with him, since we went through some dark times together. One of those is that he knows about my lifestyle preferences, as I confided in him when I was younger and first starting to understand what that all meant, and was feeling like a horrible person for having those thoughts. This is something, however, that we haven't talked about in a very long time, as me and my wife don't feel the need to inform everyone we meet of what we do in the bedroom, and Mike and I haven't talked about it in a long time. However, recently Mike was asking me about my views on an open relationship again, and kept asking more and more questions about them, including if me and my wife were in one. I was honest with him and told him that yes, he has already known about my preferences, and that I was very lucky to find someone who was compatible with me in that way. After that, though, I asked him why he was asking all of these questions, and he confessed to me he was thinking about asking Lisa if she would open up their relationship. This was a shock to me, as Mike had never shown any indication he was interested in an open relationship when we talked about it, and in fact did seem quite taken aback at first. I remember being scared that I was about to lose my best friend for a while, until he eventually assured me that whatever I did was my own business, and he wouldn't judge me for it. Regardless, I told him that's not something I can really help with, since everyone's idea of an open relationship may be different, and that the only advice I can give him is to talk about it honestly and openly with Lisa, and make sure that you are both exactly on the same page with whatever you decide. That was essentially where that conversation ended, and I never inquired about it again as I didn't believe it was any of my business. Well, fast forward, and as I'm sure some of you saw coming, Mike cheated on Lisa. I found out about this from a very angry Lisa screaming at me on the phone about how I ruined their relationship and was horrible for encouraging Mike to hook up with other women. When I finally got her to explain what she was talking about, she told me that after she had caught Mike cheating, he told her that he had always wanted an open relationship and that I had encouraged him to try it. Apparently, he went as far as to tell Lisa that I said it was totally fine to do and that she should understand. I was obviously in shock and told her I said nothing of the sort. I reiterated what I said at the beginning of this post, that I believe anyone in a relationship should communicate and have clear boundaries and agreements, and breaking those is absolutely cheating and absolutely something I do not support in any way, shape, or form. I told her directly that I did not agree with anything Mike did and that he absolutely cheated on her, and she has every right to be upset at him. Well, now of course our entire friend group is blowing up because Lisa is planning on divorcing Mike for his cheating, and some of our friends, including Lisa, are extremely upset with me as well. From what I can tell, they essentially don't care if I agree specifically with what Mike did or not. But the fact that I can find the idea of a married man sleeping with another woman acceptable in any context is disgusting, and they also still blame me for putting the idea in Mike's head / encouraging him to cheat. Mike also, of course, told Lisa that I was in an open relationship with my wife as part of his pathetic attempt to justify his behavior, which not only pisses me off that he would expose something like that which I trusted him with to everyone, but has led to my wife getting multiple phone calls from people coming to her for support and letting her know we're here for you if you need to talk, which is stressing her out because now she has to essentially defend me and assure everyone she is fine, which of course some of our friends don't believe and are still heavily implying that they will support her whenever she needs or is ready for it, which is honestly just a big slap on the face to both of us. Honestly, this entire thing is stressing me out, and I feel completely unheard. I can't count the number of times I have directly said I do not agree with Mike's actions, that I never encouraged him in the slightest to do anything beyond simply talk to Lisa and be honest with her, the exact opposite of what he did, and show people through my actions that I have also cut off all contact with Mike, and that I am just as furious with him as they are. Which, by the way, before blocking him, I asked for his side of the story, and when I confronted him about everything Lisa told me he said about our conversation, he essentially doubled down and said that I had implied it was okay by not condemning his feelings and saying I should talk to Lisa about it. I asked him, of course, how me saying he should talk to Lisa translated into him hooking up with someone behind her back, and he said he did talk with her, and so according to my advice, that was all he had to do. I'm sorry, did I also have to explain that if you talked to her and she said no, then don't do it? I quickly realized Mike was simply grasping for any excuse to rationalize his behavior and blocked him, and I frankly don't care about his option at all. However, I do care about my other friends' opinions, and it is looking like a lot of my friendships may be significantly damaged if not lost altogether as a result of all this. So, AITA for informing my friend about my views on an open relationship, and thus encouraging him to cheat on his wife? What can I do to show my friends I am absolutely not on Mike's side with any of this and support Lisa 100%?